everybody, welcome to Pro World Live. I'm Danielle from Pro World.
Kate behind the camera.
And we are here today with some special friends from Sawgrass. I have Olivia that's going to be joining us. And we are going to be not only giving away this amazing Sawgrass SG500 printer, we're going to be announcing the winner today, but we're also going to be showing and having questions and answers with Olivia about the SG500 and the SG1000. She's going to do some projects for you that are on, allowing you to do the larger print size that the SG1000 has to offer. And we're just going to kind of compare the two printers today. So as always, let us know where you're tuning in from, how you're doing. If you have a printer, if you hope to be the lucky one that is winning this printer. And also if you have any questions, it can be anything about the Sublimation ink, the printers themselves, what you recommend, whether it's SG500 or the 1000, so definitely message us with your questions and we'll make sure that we're going to take a segment out to make sure that those questions are asked and that the experts over at Sawgrass will be able to answer them for you. All right. So Olivia, thank you so much for joining us today.
Hi, thank you for having me. Happy to be here. There's a lot of excitement over on our end here for this live. So very excited.
All right, excellent. We are going to just jump right in. We're going to have Olivia do her first project with us, utilizing that SG1000 printer and that large print area that it can offer. And like I said, everybody, let us know where you're tuning in from. Send out your questions and we'll get them all answered for you today.
For sure. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. We have a bunch of substrates that we got from Pro World. And these are all geared more towards the SG1000. So that's because they are slightly bigger. So I might show off a couple things really quick before I get started on this project. Actually, let's get started on the project. While it's pressing, I'll show you some things. And the first thing that we want to press is a garden flag. We are coming into spring, hopefully. I don't know. Groundhog Days was yesterday, and there's 6 more weeks of winter, and I'm not excited about that. But we can always start preparing for spring with our SG1000. So we are creating a garden flag today. This is one perfect for this spring season. Everybody welcome. So we just want to make this really quickly. And this was, of course, printed with our SG1000. We have Sublimation. Let me turn this off really quick. All right. We're all heated and good to go. So we have Sublimation ink in our SG1000, and we've found it's been really great to use. You can also use Easy Subli in an SG1000 as well. So we do have multiple options of ink for that. So what we're going to do is we're first just going to print off your design. This design is from Creative Studio. All the designs we have here today are from Creative Studio. And then we're going to take this garden flag, make sure it is lint rolled because that is something we do not want to sublimate in. We don't want any lint in our garden flag. All right. And then just make sure to flip it over so you've got it on the right side. You can do these both sides. I like this side better, so I'm going to go ahead, sublimate it there. Just kind of line it up how you'd like it. And then we're going to use a little bit of heat tape today to attach this. Get that on. Another thing I forgot to mention about Creative Studio is we also have a promo code. So all of these designs in Creative Studio are ready to use for sublimation. They are in bright colors. We've got new spring designs. We've got Valentine's designs. We've got everything for you in there. So go ahead and check that out. Our promo code, it's new this year, or new this month. So let me make sure I got it right. It's GROW, all capital. So GROW 30. GROW 30, and that gives you 30% off for the first 30 days of premium subscription. So go ahead and get you some new Creative Studio designs. All right. One more time. And our Sawgrass sign just went down. Okay.
Something always happens during a live.
Yes. There's always something exciting happening. Let's just hope that our substrates all turn out today. That's totally fine. There goes the command strip. Okay, perfect. All right, so we've got everything taped up. We're ready to go here. And we had some parchment paper down here pre-cut, so let me grab that. Okay, so with an SG1000, of course, you're usually doing bigger products. So we found that getting just a big roll of parchment paper is a great idea, and then you can cut it to the size that you need. We went ahead and cut ours to the size. I'm gonna pull that out and get my heat gloves on because this is hot. But you can also buy pre-cut pieces of parchment paper as well, which makes things really easy. So we're gonna lay this with the sublimation paper on top, the product underneath. And then we are pressing this at 400 degrees for 50 seconds. So I'm gonna go ahead and press that down. Okay, and I'm gonna keep a close eye on this because this press actually likes to pop up on us. So you might see me like holding this down when it's getting close to time. That's one thing that you wanna note about sublimation is the constant pressure is really important. So even that last second, we found that if we let this press pop open, that it'll sometimes ghost. So if you're ever experiencing something like that, or maybe there's some ink in places it shouldn't be, that could definitely be an issue if you have a press that automatically opens like this as well. So you just want that easy, nice, smooth open. Okay, while that's pressing, we've got about 10 seconds left. So actually, I'll save these other projects to talk to you about a little bit later. 3, 2, 1. Okay. All right. It always feels a little bit more dramatic than it is. Okay, and I'm going to set this aside, roll this in, and we will go ahead and open this garden flag up. Oh yeah, nice. Okay. Turned out good. If I can just open it. That's the other thing about Pro World substrates that we love is that you know you're getting a quality substrate when you get something from Pro World. You know, sometimes you get a substrate and it's not the greatest, and that causes your sublimation to not be the greatest. But at Pro World, you're always going to get a perfect press. So there we go. There's our little garden flag. And Pro World also actually sells these flag poles. So here's one we did earlier. So of course, we're really into the spring idea. So we've got another garden flag here and a pole to go with it. So it's ready to go.
Talk about how you can customize with Creative Studio
yeah.
also.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so you can see actually both of these have customization on them. We have written the Miller family on this one, so you can go and change your name. You can change what this says. These say everybody welcome, but if you want to say something else, happy Easter or something like that, you can definitely put those on there. I'm going to slide that back in here. Same with this one. We've got the griffins right here, and so you can change that as well. You can change the coloring. That's another great part about Creative Studio is you can adjust the colors to however you'd like so that you can make it match the flowers in your garden or anything like that. So that's our first project, and it turned out great. We're excited to have that hanging this spring. Danielle, do we have some questions already?
I'm sure we do. Kate is feverishly writing them all down for me. No, but that came out great. And, you know, we've printed garden signs as well on our side, but I don't have the luxury of having the 1000 set up. I only have the 500. And, you know, you can absolutely do those larger projects with the smaller printer, but you'd have to piece together and tile together your two prints, and you know you could see a seam. So definitely using the SG1000 to utilize that large print area. You have that 11 by 17 space, and then with the bypass tray, the 13 by 19 paper sheet, you know, that just makes it so much easier to print those larger products. Absolutely. And if you guys were tuning in to our live 2 weeks ago where we did the silky socks, you would have, you know, we showed you how to piece together the two sheets, but, you know, it could have easily been done with the SG1000 having just that one sheet of paper, you know, to print both the boxers and the bras that we did. So.
Yeah. That's a good point. We actually have a sports bra here too. So we did this sports bra. You can see it's nice, fun, and colorful. and we pressed it using the SG1000 and the bypass tray on this one. So I think this is another good thing to mention is like when the color comes out, it's not always going to be as bright and vibrant. Like this turned out almost neon. I'm not sure if it's coming through the camera quite as well, but it is super bright. And then these are a much more dull color. So even if your prints are coming out a lot duller, it's when you press it that color really comes through, really shines. And it makes it, a lot easier. Like you said, this was one print, one press, and then we've got this beautiful sports bra done just like any other substrate without having to piece together or worry about seams or anything like that.
Yeah, I think it was that like 10 minutes of our live last week trying to just piece it together. It takes some time because you want to make sure it's accurate and, that you don't see the seam.
Right. Yeah.
All right. So other, really important questions I have here is, why purchase a Sawgrass sublimation printer, which is probably the main question overall. Why should a customer go out and purchase a Sawgrass?
I think the main thing that makes Sawgrass unique is just the amount of support, and it's a whole system. You're not just buying a printer. You're also getting a 2-year warranty. You're getting expert high quality inks that are prepared batch by batch and analyzed batch by batch and made here in the USA. You're also getting customer support for the lifetime of your printer. So you've got all these things adding up to make sure that you are successful. We've got a knowledge base, which allows you to have all this information. If you have any questions about your printer, the answer is going to be in there. So you've got all these different resources that all pile together when you buy that SG500, SG1000, that Sawgrass printer.
And Creative Studio.
You also get Creative Studio. Yeah, absolutely. So free design software that you can upgrade to a premium version as well. But free designs that are always new, revolving. There's new designs specifically for sublimation each and every month.
And just to kind of throw out that code again to upgrade to the premium, I think you said grow 30. Was that right?
Yep, and grow is all capitalized. Yep, grow 30 for 30% off your first 30 days.
Okay. And so our next question, what's the difference between the SG500 and the SG1000?
Yeah, the main difference is going to be your sizing and the ability you have when you're printing. So just like we've been talking about, you can accomplish all of these things with the 500, but the 1000 is really going to make you more efficient, and it's going to allow for a larger printing area. And then also the SG1000 is a little bit more versatile in that you can still print a little teeny coaster. You can still sublimate a coaster using a 1000, but you can also do something like this big, large, we've got this glass trivet or glass cutting board that you can also use as well. So it just opens up the space, the area that you're able to use for sure. And then also we've seen that the 1000 is more particularly for people who are running businesses. So if you are a business owner, not necessarily a crafter, but you are producing things, that SG1000 allows you to print multiple things on the same sheet of paper. So you're utilizing that paper more. It allows you to print quicker and allows you to really get your product out the door faster.
And what's the largest print size for each printer? You kind of touched on that, but let's just kind of...
Yeah. So with the standard tray on the SG500, it's going to be 8.5 by 11, but you of course can add that bypass tray. So that bypass tray is going to get you to 8.5, let me make sure I got this right, 8.5 by 14. So you can utilize that amount of space. When you move up to the SG1000, your largest print size actually goes all the way up to 13.5 by 51 inches. Now we've had a couple questions like, where do you find 51-inch paper? You can't really find 51-inch paper, but you can buy sublimation paper in rolls, and we have seen people cut those rolls in order to get that 51 inches. So you can hang 51 inches outside of that bypass tray, but paper typically doesn't come in that size. Sawgrass actually does make TruePix paper that comes in 13-inch by 19-inch. So you can see, and there's a couple other paper suppliers out there that also do 13-inch by 19-inch. That's typically about the largest that we see. But on a standard tray with the SG1000, I also want to mention that number. The standard tray gets you all the way up to 11 inches by 17 inches. So that's another thing to note, is that you can move up from the SG500 from 8.5 to 11 on that standard tray, all the way up to that 11 by 17 with the standard tray on the 1000.
If I had an SG500, can I still print those larger projects and products that you have?
You can, absolutely. Of course, it does require that kind of like tiling of the paper. So it makes it a little bit more difficult. Sorry, I'm going to grab a drink of water. Our heat press is really heating up on us. So it's drying me out, but absolutely, you can for sure print those larger things. It's just a little bit more efficient and effective with the 1000.
Okay. And then what is, I would say, probably like your overall benefit of getting that SG1000 over the SG500?
Yeah, I mean, they're both workhorse printers, so we love them both. You know, we can run them both super hard, but I think that 1000, the real benefit of it is the efficiency, the ability to print so much more in the same amount of time. You know, if you're using that 500 to create those tilings, to make a larger product, you know, it's taking you more time. It's taking more time to press, more time figuring it out, laying it out. That SG1000 just cuts that time right down. You're able to print everything you need in one go, get things done quicker, and just opens up your realm of possibilities to printing on practically any substrate that you've got. You know, we've got several large substrates here, and we can do all of them on the 1000 with just one sheet of SG1000 paper. That's really the benefit.
Okay, so now I have a few questions from, the people that are watching. And so Kathy asks, I have the SG1000 and it defaults to the sub B paper size. The printer has 11 by 17 in the tray. Can I correct this so that it automatically defaults the size in the tray?
There is a way to do this, and there is a video about it. I don't know exactly, I don't want to say verbatim this video because I don't want to get it wrong for Kathy, but yes, there is a way to do that, and we can actually find that video for you and send it to you, Danielle, if that works. But there is a way to change your paper default.
Excellent. All right, so Kathy, if you're still on here, go ahead and send us an email, service@ProWorld Inc., and we will get that video over for you so you can, tap in and see how to get that defaulted. Okay, now I don't know if you have this question or answer for it, but Tobias asked to compare the TruePix paper that Sawgrass offers and text print paper. I don't know if you've ever had a direct comparison between the two or what the main differences may be. Olivia, have you worked with the text print before?
I have never personally worked with the text print. I do know people that have used it before and have been successful with it. I, of course, work at Sawgrass, so I get the TruePix paper sent to me. So that's the paper that I use. So I don't have any direct feedback for you, but I have heard that both obviously are compatible using them through either printer, the 500 or the 1000. It just kind of depends. A lot of sublimation is so much of a science. So it really depends on what you're doing, what you're printing it on. I know different kinds of paper work differently on different substrates. It can also be different depending on the humidity that you have in the place that you live. So there's so many different things. I think the best thing to do is to kind of test out a little bit for yourself as well. See what works perfectly for your environment and what gets you the best results.
I totally agree. I've never worked with the TruePix paper before, but we sell the text print paper, so that's the one that I'm most familiar with. And the great thing about either paper that we found, obviously Olivia was pressing the garden flag, utilized our settings that we have on our website with the application instructions, and either paper prints it beautifully. Right. So, and that's the most important, when you're working with a sublimation ink and paper and you have certain settings that a company might provide you, remember that they're utilizing the products that that they have. So, the settings that we have on our website for application are utilizing the Sawgrass ink along with text print paper and finding the perfect heat and temperature or temperature and time for that particular product. When you bring in an outside source of paper, you might have to do some additional testing on your own to make sure you have the right time and temperature for your supplies that you're working with. So just kind of keep that in mind too. Like some papers, offer a really low time need. So that might be something that you'd have to, look into a little bit further if you're using an alternate paper, that you'd have to cut back on your time. Okay. Let's see. This is, I can't read who the person is, but there's a couple questions on here that basically I have a brand new Sawgrass printer. I've got it plugged in. I have it ready to go, but I don't know what to do. And I know the answer for this for Olivia, but go ahead, Olivia. I'll let you go because it is your program that you offer.
Hey, absolutely. So the best thing to do is go to sawgrassink.com and go ahead and set up your onboarding session. So we actually have onboarding with our support care team. So they will get on with you and help walk you through the details of everything. So even if you haven't even opened your printer, if it's still in the box, we can help you. We can help you get it set up. We can help you get it connected to Wi-Fi. We can help get it connected to your computer, whatever you're using. So they are there to help you. It's going to be a care expert. So people that have been doing this for years and know exactly what they're talking about. Anytime I ever have an issue, I always go straight to them because they know what they're doing and they will be efficient too. They'll get you up and running. That is their goal, is to get you printing as quickly as possible because we know it is a high-tech piece of technology. It's high-tech. So we know it's a little bit intimidating when you get that box and you're like, okay, now I actually have to do this. But we want to make it as smooth as a process as possible for you. And so that care team is there to help you out with that.
The team over at Sawgrass, they are so helpful. I can't even stress that enough. They, go above and beyond for you when you have questions, especially when you're first starting out with that printer. You really want somebody to just walk you through it instead of just staring at the computer screen wondering if you did it right. So definitely sign up for that session. It's by far a necessity for your business or just for your hobby to get you up and running and get you up and running quickly, successfully, so that way your first print will be an amazing print and not wondering what you did wrong. So definitely.
I actually scheduled my own, like when I first joined the company, I scheduled my own onboarding, but it was like a month after I started working. So I kind of knew what I was doing a little bit. I had sublimated before, but I got on that onboarding section and whoa, they blew my mind. I was like, no way. I have been doing this weird workaround to try and get that easy thing that you just taught me to happen. So they are going to teach you the tips and the tricks. They're going to teach you what every little thing means. So it is very, very beneficial.
Perfect. Okay. So, and we have a couple questions here about the similarities between the the SG800 and the SG1000, and then the similarities between the SG400 and the 500.
Yes. So those printers are pretty similar. Of course, they are updated versions. So just like any other kind of piece of technology, you're going to get an updated version. If it's a phone, if it's a computer, you're going to get an updated version every couple of years. So that SG500 is the update from the 400. And the 1000 is the update from the 800. Now, we understand that a lot of you have an SG800 or a 400 that is still your workhorse, still working great for you. Awesome. We love that you're utilizing it. Please run your printers to the ground. We love to see that happen and see when you have millions of things that you're able to create with this printer. So continue to use those. And then when you're ready to upgrade, go ahead and upgrade to the corresponding one that you've got. Or if you want to move from a 400 to a 1000, that's a great move too. We highly recommend it. One thing to also note is those bypass trays. If you have purchased one for your 800, it works for your 1000. If you've purchased one for your 400, it also works for your 500. So those are compatible, so you don't need to buy an extra bypass tray.
That's perfect. And I do have a question here about what the cost is. So we're going to put links up for the SG500 and the SG1000. So that way, anybody that's watching can definitely go over to those links for Pro World Ink and get those pricing.
Perfect.
Okay. Now, another question is, where did I see it? Oh, how much room does the SG1000 take up?
That is a great question. So we, of course, we're actually currently, our camera is sitting on our SG1000 and SG500. So we have our SG1000 in, actually my boss, Sarah's, she's behind the camera, but we have it here in her home.
You want me to show it?
Yeah, Allie, if you want to show it,
Okay.
Actually.
I'm going to pop it in the camera here really quick.
Flip around.
And this is our office. So just take note of that obviously we've got some office things going on here.
So we've got it on a desk here, and we have actually stacked the two printers. So that is a great thing to note. So if you have multiple printers and you have a limited amount of space, you can have it stacked here. But you can actually see we've got a laptop sitting right beside it. It might be a little trippy because it's showing, but that's like the standard size of a laptop. You can see with the bypass tray, it's a little bit longer. It's got a little bit deeper of a room. But if you don't have that bypass tray, those printers can actually sit flush against the wall. That was a special design technique that we used to make sure it takes up less space. So there's nothing sticking out past the printer unless you've got a bypass tray. So it actually is desk size. We do market those as being a desktop printer, and you can fit it on pretty much any desk. So it is actually really feasible to use this printer in a home setting in a smaller office space. I hope that helps.
Yes. We actually do have the actual dimensions on the website. So when you go to that link, you'll be able to see those dimensions. I have no idea what it is
Yeah.
off the top of my head, but the website will show that for you. Another question here is that they've seen different inks for Sawgrass, and there's different ink sets that can be used from Chromoblast, Sublimation to Easy Subli. What is, the comparisons between them?
Yeah, for sure. So most of the time when people are purchasing inks, they're probably going to get the Sublimation or the Easy Subli. So these are both inks that can be used for all kinds, hard substrates, soft substrates, they can both be used. The difference between the two is going to be that the Easy Subli is going to work better on Caesar Easy Subli HTV. Easy Subli has a special drying agent in that ink, so it allows it to dry more quickly. If you've ever used Easy Subli, when it comes out of the printer, it is wet. That Easy Subli HTV kind of acts like a sponge to soak up the ink, and then it gets transferred onto what you're using as your substrate. So that Easy Subli ink is when we would suggest you buying it if you're using Easy Subli HTV more often. You can still use that Easy Subli to create a hard substrate. I actually have Easy Subli in my own printer, so anything that I sublimate, I use Easy Subli. Now I pulled this up, that wasn't quite correct because we actually use Sublimation on this one. Sublimation you can still use on Easy Subli, it's just going to be a bit messier and it doesn't have that drying agent. So it's a little bit trickier. But with Sublimation, you can sublimate on all these substrates we have here. We've got some hard substrates. We've got softer substrates that are polyester, like this Silky Socks bra. So we have got plenty of soft substrates that we do use Sublimation on as well. The Chromoblast is a very specific type of ink. That is just for soft substrates. And it's for light colored soft substrates. So a lot of the time, if you're not printing on like say a white t-shirt or a white bag, polyester bag, then most of the time we kind of recommend not to go with the Chromoblast. It's for a very specific audience that is utilizing that specific purpose.
Okay. So we've been, using the Sawgrass printers for quite some time. And when we, first kind of introduced them, we recommended for our customers to keep them on all the time. So that way the ink cycles through and constantly keeps moving. The question from Terry is that still recommended?
Absolutely, 100%. It is 100% recommended that you keep those printers on all the time so that those maintenance cycles are able to continue working. We see a lot of the times that people are kind of afraid that that's going to use up a lot of their ink. Actually, it uses less ink to keep your printer on and maintain that printer rather than if you were to turn it off and come back to it a couple days later. Because as soon as you plug it in, the printer is going to start that maintenance cycle again. So you could either just leave it on and let it do its normal little minimal maintenance cycles, or when you replug it in and turn it back on, it's going to actually take up a lot more ink to try and flush those print heads to make sure that you get a good print back. So it's actually more beneficial to leave that on that.
All right. A question from Patty is, can both machines use the same ink? Can the SG500 and the SG1000 use both the Sublimation or the Easy Subli?
Yes, they can. The inks can come in different sizes, so you can get a little more ink for your SG1000, but you can use both inks in both printers.
But once you
on Pro World, we do have the extended cartridges, and those are for your SG1000 printers. So you do have a little bit extra ink in those cartridges, but the standard carts can be used on either the 500 or the 1000.
Yes, and Sarah's letting me know too. Here's another good thing that we always want to make sure people know. Once you put a certain type of ink in your printer, that is the ink the printer uses. Don't switch between inks because that actually voids your warranty, and it also can really mess up your switching between inks. Inky Subli with the drying agent doesn't mix well with this stuff. So please don't mix those.
Sarah and Olivia, that's probably the key point to kind of stress, because we do get that question a lot, and it is really important. Once your printer starts with that ink set, you must remain with that ink set through the cycle and through the life of that printer. Mixing them does cause some issues. So, if you're ready to reorder your ink, take a look at your ink cartridge, make sure you have the right one, and so that way there's no issues moving forward with your printer. Okay. Actually, let's do your other project, Olivia, since you're probably boiling from your heat press that's still on. We'll continue getting questions.
Okay, so we are actually going to use this metallic sign that we got. I think it's listed on Pro World's site as a photo panel or a small sign. So this is actually a Unisub product, and we love the quality of Unisub, so that is great. One thing to note, when you do get a substrate, please check to see if you've got a layer of plastic on top, because we have sublimated on top of plastic before, and it does not smell great, and sublimation does not work on top of plastic. So please do not waste your substrate. I'm just going to take a little bit of time peeling this off. But what we wanted to do for this sign is create a small business sign. Now this would work perfect for, say, we're actually going to do one for a nail salon. So if you've got like an at-home nail salon or a nail salon in a smaller office building. Sorry, this is a little bit noisy, so let me just make all the noise really quick. Okay, there we go. So we're going to use this as a small business sign, but we know a lot of you are also small business owners as well. So if you happen to sell any of your products out of your house, this is a great option. We know a lot of people that have like a basement that they have people come in and look at their substrates through. If you have a garage, something like that, and you want something on the outside to let customers know that you've got that shop there, this is a great option. We've also seen like hairstylists, if you have at-home hair salon, this is great for that as well. We are going to do it for a nail salon. So this is our substrate, or this is our print that we've got. Also on the SG1000, we did that. We used the Creative Studio logo folder. So we've actually created some new like logos in Creative Studio that you can kind of base your logos off of. So the logo created most of this for us. We just added the purple color. We stuck in a flower since it's for, I don't know if you can read it because it's backwards, but it says the purple orchid. So we stuck in a flower and then we stuck in the name of the business. So just very simple, quick little changes that you can make in order to customize these logo designs. I'm gonna move some things out of the way. We're gonna move that garden flag. And then, let me just double check. Okay, yes, it's this side. So make sure you are putting your substrate on the right side because there is one side that's not sublimatable. So make sure you are using that sublimated side. All right, and then we are just going to line this up here. And I'm gonna tape this down as well. This is also going to be pressed at the same thing, 400 degrees, but we're gonna do it for 2 minutes. This is a substrate that does kind of need your attention when it comes to pressing. Some presses do differently, and of course your paper works differently. So the Pro World site actually gives a little bit of variety when it comes to pressing time. It says about 1 to 3 minutes. We found that 2 minutes works really well for us in our press. So that's something you are going to want to make sure you kind of understand as you go to press a sign like this. Okay, same thing. We're going to use some parchment. I'm going to get my heat gloves on.
Change the time before you put it in.
And get this time changed. Yes, thank you. There's always something that I'm going to forget. Okay. All right, let's go up. 2 minutes, 120 seconds, right? Math on a Friday. Okay, we're almost there. There we go, 120 seconds. Okay, awesome. Same thing with this substrate. We're going to flip it with the print side up and then lay it down in there.
I think you have to press OK too, or just keep.
Press OK?
Yeah, before, so that it
Great.
comes on.
Awesome, thank you. This is the first time I've ever used this press, so I'm learning. It's always fun when there's a new press to learn with. Okay, all right, and we are going to press it. Okay, all right, while we do that, I'll show you this one last substrate that we've also used. So this is a bag that we have made. This was also from Pro World, of course. And this is an example of something that you could accomplish with the 500. So you could print that with the 500. We printed it with our 1000. So you can do it both ways. But on this side, we can also show you the more possibilities that you can do with the 1000. So you actually can't see it that well on the camera, but there is actually a background color on this as well. So that's one thing to note, is that you can get backgrounds fully across a huge substrate. So you are able to get that color that you want. This one's like a dark creamy color. So even though the substrate is dark and creamy color, I can still see some differentiation between the two colors. So if you're looking, maybe you want to do a hot pink background, that would work with the 1000, and you can make it happen on these big substrates. All right. And I don't think I mentioned about this as well. This is one of the special substrates that you got to watch out for. You do not mirror when you are pressing on glass. So make sure, and you're also going to put your graphic on this side. So that's something to note as well. Like when you first get this substrate, it's a little bit confusing. You're like, which side do I press on? Pro World has great instructions, so make sure to check out their website for any information on that. But you're not going to mirror these because you're actually going to put it and it's going to shine through. So the ink's actually on this side and it shines through to this glass part. We really love these because they're great decoration. They're great for, we've used some smaller round ones as glass trivets. So if you're putting something hot on it, that's something that we've used as well. And then they're great decorations. I think I already mentioned that. Okay, this is something that you really have to be careful about. This substrate gets so hot. My boss Sarah actually just lightly touched her skin with it for like a half a second last time, and she's got a big old red mark across her arm. So please, please, please be careful as you're using that. I'm going to put a hot pad here and just kind of get everything out of the way so that we can use your heat gloves, please. Okay. All right. Oh, yeah. And this turned out great. Once again, it's very hot, so I'm going to use kind of the parchment paper to also help me hold it up. But you can see there, we've got that nice ombre effect. That color is what we added into it. So that ombre turned out perfectly. It's nice and shiny, nice and bright, and it looks amazing. The quality, the sharpness of the text and the image all turned out perfectly. So we're really excited about how that turned out. It looks great.
Great.
Right.
And that is, especially when you have like that ombre in the background or like a full color, the SG1000 is so much easier to print with, and you don't get that seam or that overlap, you know, from the SG500. So you really get a nice quality product in your finished result. So that's what everybody in this industry is looking for, is to get that nice quality finish and a professional look for it. And, you know, I think Sarah did, or Olivia did a great job, you know, printing that and, you know, really utilizing what that SG1000 can offer, really showing that on full display there. You know, we do get this question pretty often, is how safe is the ink to use in a household?
That's a great question. It's actually really safe. So our ink is eco-friendly. So you can actually throw it away in your regular old, like if you have an old cartridge that you've already used, you can throw it away in your regular old waste bin. Like there is no problem with that. There's nothing in there that's really going to be harmful. The great thing about it is those ink cartridges come pre-filled. So there is no mess involved. You're not risking spilling ink, not having to worry about cleaning up anything, not risking those any kind of fumes happening in your house. So it actually is very, very safe and eco-friendly to be using.
And then we had, you know, a question as to where you can buy the ink. We sell it on ProWorldInk.com. You know, we have all the different styles, the Easy Subli, the Sublijet, in both the standard carts and the extended carts. And we also offer starter packages as well, including the printers. So if you wanted to get into a certain area of the business, whether it's, you know, printing on mugs or drinkware, you know, there's a starter package that would include, you know, a mug press, or whether, you know, you just wanted to utilize the flat surface products. We do also offer packages that include, you know, the heat press, along with a few substrates for you to kind of work with and feel out, the coasters or mouse pads, things like that. That's included in the starter package, along with the printer and all the supplies that you need. So kind of like a business in a box, to sort of really hone in and focus on where you want to progress your business. So that way you have that package to kind of get you started. And I'm going to repeat this because it's super important. Once you get that printer, make sure you sign up for your session with Sawgrass so they can get your printer all set up for you, because it is super essential to do that. I did have a question here from Kurt that, Olivia, I won't pass to you because I'll go ahead and answer this one. It says, does the size of your heat press limit the size of your print? And there's like a yes and no to that. So if you're working with a 16 by 20 heat press, you do want to kind of maintain your products to be within that area, but you can absolutely do projects that are larger than that. And you just have to maneuver it around your heat press. So if you're working with, you know, something that is a little bit larger, you can kind of slide your product, print half, and then slide it over and print the other half. You could potentially get some ghosting with doing that. But we do have a couple of videos on our website. I believe one of them is a Pro World live that we did with a floor mat. And we have another one, I believe gosh, the garden flag that we did also utilized the need to kind of move it over because I believe I was using a 15 by 15 heat press. So, we do have a couple videos kind of showing how to use a smaller heat press with larger substrates. So, Kurt, definitely look out for those, and we'll make sure that, send us an email. We'll make sure that we link those up for you, or we'll include a link within the description below, so that way you can reference those videos. But definitely something that you can do. Larger substrates can be done with a smaller heat press. You just have to kind of work with it a little bit and get extra supplies so you can, test and, really kind of finesse that sort of area of the business for you, because it does take some time to kind of get the hang of. Okay. Is the software easy to set up? Is a question I have here.
Yeah, so Creative Studio is super easy to set up. If that's the software that you're trying to set up, that's very, very easy. You just create an account. That's literally it. And then you're good to go. You're off and running. So that's why we love Creative Studio, is because you just jump in, you're ready to go. If you can provide an email and a password, then that's all the setup that there is.
And there's free designs and new designs each month.
Yes, there are free designs, new designs each month, and then the upgrade to premium is also very easy. There's always that option if you want to do that. Again, that promo code is GROW30, so make sure to use that promo code when you're signing up for it. But yes, there's always just a little button that says, do you want to upgrade to premium? And you just click that, and so yes.
And just in case they're not in studio, they may be.
Oh, okay. Yes, Print Manager is also associated with our printer. That's part of the system in order to make sure that you get the best colors possible. And in that case, Print Manager is also incredibly easy. It's just a download link. So you just download it, install it to your computer. It'll connect to your Creative Studio account so that you can print through your Creative Studio. And this is all something that the care team can help you with during your onboarding session. So if you're a little bit wary of that, don't worry. Contact the care team. They're going to be able to help you get everything set up.
And you can also.
All right. We have a couple questions that kind of really sort of narrow down based on their printer that they're having experiences with. But I just kind of want to point out, Sawgrass does offer assistance past your onboarding stage. So even if down the road, months later, you still have some questions or something's going on with your printer, you can definitely set up a ticket with their, with their members, their team members, so that way they can, kind of respond to you and assist you and sort of help you along the way. So, I'm not going to read off a couple of these questions because I feel like they're very specific based on that particular customer having difficulties with their printer or, utilizing the print or having a question about it. But definitely go to Sawgrass's website, set up that ticket for yourself. That way their team can really help you get the results that you're looking for.
Yes, and we also have a little bit of a lesser known resource. We have something called the Knowledge Base, which is also on sawgrassink.com, and that includes a ton of frequently asked questions, a ton of troubleshooting tips as well. So if you're experiencing something like that, and maybe you don't have the time to reach out right now to the care team, you can always check out the Knowledge Base as well, and that has a
Excellent. All right. I think we are actually all done with our questions. So we've made it through. Lots of great questions. Thank you everybody for kind of, sending those in and asking, because they're important. They're questions that you need to know or that you have, and what better way for the experts at Sawgrass to kind of answer them for you. But without further ado, we have to announce our winner, right? That's why some of you are tuning in, because you want to know if you won this amazing printer, your SG500, that comes with your, an install kit and everything to get started. And I know, because you've been watching this, that you're going to set up your onboarding session with Sawgrass as soon as you get it. But before we kind of jump into the winner, I want to make sure that, the winner, we will go ahead and DM you after this and get all your information so that way we can, get you your printer for you. And the winner is, do I have a drum roll as I'm opening my cell phone? Okay. The winner is Too Good to Be True. And it's spelled TUGUD, the number 2, BTROO. You are the winner. Congratulations. We're so happy for you. We can't wait for this to be added to your business, and so that you can, begin all these products, pressing on them and having a great time. This will be amazing for you. So I believe we posted out the winner, their handle. So definitely make sure that you contact us so that way we can get you your printer and get you started. All right. Olivia, do you have anything that you want to make sure that we mention, or anything that we may have missed that you want to, let all our followers know about?
I was just looking through my list. I don't think there's anything specifically that I have, but just again, we're excited for everybody to be using their printers. We're excited to see what you create. If you have any other questions, do feel free to reach out to the support team, or even follow us on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. We've got TikTok, we've got Pinterest. We are all over the place. So please DM us if you have questions, if there's something you want to see. If you want to see us collaborate more with Pro World, let us know. We love working with Pro World, so thank you so much for having us here today.
Thank you so much for joining us. We love working with, all the different manufacturers in the business, and, really just kind of getting everybody's perspective in on our lives. So we really appreciate you joining in with us today. And of course, offering the amazing SG500 printer that we gave away. That was huge. So thank you so much. And Too Good to Be True. Make sure you contact us. Congratulations for being the winner. And Olivia, Sarah, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. And we will see you guys here, maybe not in 2 weeks. We'll see. We'll post when our next live is. But we'll see you next time. All right, bye everybody, and thank you again, Sawgrass.
Thank you.